In the last video, I mentioned that there is an open source tool which has been developed with the concept of GitOps, which is a completely new process. There was only one person who guessed it, but he guessed it as Go CD, which was created by ThoughtWorks. It was a good guess, but let's see what is that open source tool which has implemented GitOps.
Press the bell icon on the YouTube app and never miss any update from Tech Primers.
Jenkins-X is a new product. Compared to the Jenkins which is out there, this is not a new version. This is a completely revamped Jenkins, or a different product in fact, which will be helping us in continuous integration and continuous delivery for delivering cloud native applications on Kubernetes. Unlike the other Jenkins, where you can have different plugins and you can plug it into different types of environment, because any problem which is out there can be resolved using Jenkins, right? However, Jenkins X is a straightforward solution in order to deploy cloud native applications onto the Kubernetes cluster. So this is specific for Kubernetes. That is the difference between Jenkins and Jenkins X. And Jenkins X is a completely new product. However, the same foundation has created this particular product. This particular product has been released only a few months ago. If you see, the conversation started only in April, March end, and then April, and now it is completely productionized, and lots of startups are trying to explore this. I couldn't try installing it, but I saw that there is a Mac version you can do it, but I don't know how much I can load my system. My system is like a very old one, so I don't want to crash my system and end up with no system, right? So I didn't try this out, but I'll tell you what Jenkins X does. It automatically provides the continuous integration and the continuous delivery like the normal Jenkins, but it uses the concept of GitOps in order to provide configurations for the production environment itself. So we used to deploy our applications using Jenkins into the prod or dev or test, right? However, Jenkins X is deploying your whole production environment directly, and the whole production environment setup can be inside Git. So that is what we saw as a part of GitOps, right? GitOps is a process. If you haven't seen what is GitOps, do check that video as well. Also, if you don't know what is Kubernetes, do check that video as well. So I will give the link for that in the description, and I will also leave the cards in the right top corner. So Jenkins X is for deploying using the GitOps process, where you deploy the whole environment based on the Git configuration which is available inside Git. Also, how do we deploy? So these deployments happen as a part of the pull request. So the Git hooks are leveraged, and the pipelines are triggered based on the Git hooks. So whenever you raise a pull request, automatically the pipelines will be triggered in order to deploy and test it in a lower environment. And once this test is successful, that is when the pull request can be merged after it is approved or reviewed. So if, let's say, there is a code command which has been added, so you can update your pull request with your new code, and automatically the pipeline will be triggered again, and it will be deployed and retested and made sure that the tests are good. So all these things are demonstrated inside a video, so I'm not going to play that video. You can go and take a look at it. Along with the creation of the Jenkins X product, Jenkins has created a command line interface called the JX. If you see here, they have lots of commands. If you go to the Jenkins documentation, right? So I think I have to go to the documentation. So if you go to the Jenkins documentation, you can see the command line instructions which you can use in order to use Jenkins X. So see this, right? If you use this JX command line, that is the Jenkins X command line, you can create a whole set of project, and the configurations, everything is created out of the box. See, the major problem which we face inside the current Jenkins is the availability of the plugins and the compatibility of the plugins and the usages of these plugins inside the Jenkins pipeline, usually the Jenkins file, right? So that is what we have been using it. And also, you know that I have made some videos on Jenkins pipeline as well. In the Jenkins pipeline, you will have to handcraft all these stuff one by one, and you will have to leverage all the plugins which are out there in the marketplace for the Jenkins. However, Jenkins X is a completely rethought product specifically for the Kubernetes and the microservices environment. So why did they create this? They created it because they saw that everyone is moving towards Kubernetes and the future is going to be Kubernetes, and they want to have all the configurations in one place. So which is what the GitOps process is, right? So you can use GitOps and then deliver the whole production environment using Jenkins-X. And also along with that, you will be able to deploy your applications using Jenkins. So if there is an infrastructure team in your company, they should be using Jenkins-X. If they are using the Kubernetes cluster, so they will be directly creating or deploying these Kubernetes environment using the Jenkins-X. And when there is a change in the environment, if there is a new capacity added, or if there is a change in the configuration, system configuration, or the infrastructure specific configuration, they should be going through this GitOps process of creating a pull request. That pipeline deploys to a lower environment, validates if it's all good, and then proceeds to the next production environment after the pull request is successful. So that is the major difference which Jenkins X is bringing onto the table. So we will have to see how it is faring, because it's a fairly new product which is out in the market, but it just follows the GitOps process, so nothing fancy apart from that. The only thing is it directly deploys to Kubernetes from Git. So if you had time, and then if you have a Mac or a Linux machine, you can try it out, because right now it is not available for Windows. You can give it a try. I'll also give it a try. I'm not finding time to play around with it, but you can go ahead and give it a try. Also read the documentation from the JenkinsX website. It'll give you more perspectives of what is happening in the industry and what people are trying to solve at the current world scenario, right? I hope you found this particular video interesting. If you like the video, go ahead and like it. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, go ahead and subscribe to it. Meet you again in the next video.